What caliber's right for you to carry? Age-old question. In fact, there's probably been a lot of bar fights that have been started over what caliber is the best defensive caliber to carry. Let's talk through some of these real quick, just so you have an idea of what's going on. Disclaimer, I'm not trying to start any fights and I don't care about your opinions. If you want to carry a 10 millimeter as your everyday carry gun, that's fine. Whatever. I don't care. It's not my gunfight. But let's just talk through some of these caliber choices and let some of these other people that have just started their firearms journey decide for themselves. Okay? Let's start with this guy right here. 22 long rifle. Is it a good carry cartridge? Probably not, especially if you live somewhere that's cold and people put on lots of layers. 22 is an awesome cartridge for small game like rabbits or, something like that, little nuisance things, rats around the farm, that kind of deal, but it's not good for the two-legged predators. Now, I know you're going to hear the anecdotal story of my grandpa was a cop and he's seen this gunfight where somebody got shot in the face with a 22 and it bounced around the guy's skull until it turned his brain to mush. That might be true, but I'm not going to risk my life on something this small where I have other options to carry. Now, if it's the only gun you can carry, yeah, why not? If that's the only thing you can handle shooting, then yeah, I would suggest it. Me personally, I'm not going to go for a 22 long rifle as an everyday defensive life-saving tool. I'm just not. 380. I don't know what grain this is. This is just some range candy I'd picked up off the range quite a few years ago. Is 380 a good cartridge for defense? This particular one, no. As you can see, it's not a hollow point. Don't shoot full metal jackets as your defensive loads. It's irresponsible, and it's a bad idea altogether. And we can talk about that in another time. It would, another thing you could start bar fights with. Don't use full metal jackets as a defensive load, no matter what caliber you're carrying. Anyway, back to the 380. Years ago, I would say no. It's a stupid cartridge. Not enough powder to make any difference. A lot of things have changed over the years. You've got better projectiles, better powder compounds, and better firearms, honestly, to handle a little tougher charge inside there. Would I still choose 380? I have before. I'll be honest with you. I do have a 380 firearm. It's nice to carry. It's small. But sometimes, because of the weight of the gun and it being so small, it's an uncomfortable gun to shoot. But again, if it's something that you're willing to carry and you're willing to deal with that recoil, not all guns are going to feel that way, but firearms like your Ruger LCP or some like that are really light, they're not really comfortable to carry. And if you're not going to be terribly accurate with that gun, maybe it's a bad choice. But if you're looking for something for deep cover, deep concealment that you can carry just about anywhere in a pocket, as long as you're still in a holster, something covering that trigger guard, it might be a good choice. Personally, not every day. Do I have one? Yes. Have I carried it? Yes. Let's go to the next one. Again, this is just range candy I picked off the ground. I don't recommend and I do not use full metal jacket for defensive loads. This is a 9mm. This is probably a 125 grain. I don't know for sure. Again, range candy, I picked it up off the range floor. Would I consider a 9mm a good defensive load? Yes. Yes, I would. 9mm, just like we were just talking about with the 380, powder compounds have changed. They were able to increase case pressures, increase the speed of the projectile, and better firearms to handle those projectiles, increase case pressure, to accommodate a better performing round. Yes, I would consider a 9mm a great defensive load. Is it great for you? I don't know. Is it great for me? Yes, that's what I carry every day. But there's some caveats in here. We'll get that to a little bit later. How about this guy? Again, full metal jacket. We're not going to talk about any. You should get my point about not carrying full metal jackets as a defensive load. 40. Is 40 a good defensive load? Yes, I would say yes, it is. Lots of pressure coming out of that cartridge. Usually those the grain weights of those projectiles are pretty fierce round. I would not want to get hit with them. Of course, I don't want to get hit with a pellet gun either. 40 is a good cartridge. Now, the recoil is going to be something that's going to be far more drastic than your 380s or your 9mm. I like the 40. It seems to be somewhat of a dying cartridge, and its parent case, 10mm, seems to be gaining steam again. I love the 10mm. I think 10mm is a great outdoor carry round, but not for something I would use in self-defense in an urban area, or something against two-legged predators. Four-legged predators, 10mm, and honestly 40 maybe might be a good choice while you're out in the woods hunting. Now, if you talk to your grandpa, or maybe even your dad or uncle or somebody, they're going to tell you the only thing to carry is a 45 ACP. Years ago, I would agree. And I'm not saying I disagree either. I think 45 is a phenomenal cartridge. It's been around for a very long time, and it's been proven through world wars and such. It's a great cartridge. But there's so many other options now. Some of the downsides with a 45 is you're going to have to lean towards a 1911. Not that a 1911 is a bad gun, but you're only restricted to 7-8 rounds, maybe, if you've got, depending on your magazine. And I know there's some double stack, nice 45 caliber handguns out there. I really like the FNX 45. I think that's a phenomenal 45. It's my favorite double stack 45. I would buy one. I don't own one, but I would buy one. 45 is still a good cartridge. It's relevant, but look how much bigger it is compared to the 9mm. Let's put these up here, if I can pick up the 9. Look at the difference. Okay. Now, obviously, a bigger case weight you're going to have, or case size, you're going to have a little bit more charge back there. But the 45 is traveling at a much slower speed. Is that a bad thing? Yes and no. You're also shooting a lot heavier bullet downrange, and it's going to cause trauma either way. When we think about terminal ballistics, we have to consider weight and speed, right? If we got a slow bullet that's heavy, it's going to have some knockdown power. A lighter bullet going at a greater speed is still going to cause a lot of damage. 9mm handguns tend to be able to carry more rounds. It's okay to have extra rounds at the end of a gunfight. Not condoning you go around finding gunfights to get into. That is not the point. The point is, I would rather have 17 9mm bullets compared to maybe 11, 12, 45 caliber bullets. Now, we could go into the whole thing of, well, what about body armor? I'm not going to get into that. That doesn't matter. What does matter is, no matter what caliber you choose to defend yourself with, you need to get used to it in the gun that you're shooting. If you're shooting, let's just go back to the 1911 and 45. There's a lot of great options in hollow point defensive ammo, but you need to be trying those bullets, those cartridges, in that gun that you choose to carry to make sure they cycle and they run properly. Not all guns will eat any kind of ammunition. Kimber came out with was it the Solo? Man, it only ate like 115 grain 9mm in a specific brand, and it would not cycle anything else just because it hated every other bullet shape out there. It wouldn't feed it. Whatever gun you choose to defend yourself with, you need to be running defensive rounds through it, and different types of defensive rounds through it to make sure your gun works. Yeah, I know it's expensive. Ammo's not cheap anymore, but it's a lot better than having a problem when you need to use that life-saving device. Anyways, it's kind of a quick video, quick water skiing moment, not scuba diving moment, talking about defensive ammo. Learn for yourself what feeds through your gun the right way. If you don't know what gun to carry, maybe you just started on a firearms journey, find a good range. Whoa, lights just went out. Find a good range that you can go rent some firearms and get a feel for what's good. Not all guns are going to feel the same. Not even the same caliber. You could have a Smith & Wesson, a Glock, and a Springfield and put them all together, and they're not going to feel the same when they go off. You need to get them in your hands. You need to shoot them. Maybe you need to find a new range buddy, somebody you know that maybe is a little bit more experienced with the firearms, and spend some time with them. Most people, almost all people I've met in the firearms industry, love to share their knowledge and their guns with people at the range. Don't be shy. If you're new to this journey, don't be shy. If you see somebody while you're at the range that appears to be new on their firearms journey, don't be a jerk. Invite them over. Help them with answer their questions. Get to know them. We need as many people involved in the firearms community as possible. Owning a gun is completely normal in the United States. Guns can be scary, they can be dangerous, but that's only when used irresponsibly. Okay? Be a good gun owner, be a good steward of the Second Amendment, and thanks for taking your time and watch me talk about ammunition. See you guys.